Welcome to the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, discussing all things audiobooks with the authors that write the stories and the narrators that perform them. Brought to you by Viviana, Enchantress of Books.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 11 of the Audiobook Lovin Podcast. Present.
Oh, wait. I shouldn't have said that. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
You're letting me out the gate early. Sorry, folks.
And that's Sean Crisden, who's going to be our guest today. But this is part of the Enchantress After Dark, the new series that is the same great content, which is a little more intimacy with our guests. In the past 2 years, we have had the honor of being the official podcast for the Allure signing in 2022 and the Readers Take Denver convention in 2023. And so in 2024, we are the official podcast for the Dark Star convention, which is happening August 29th through September 1st. In New Orleans, Louisiana. So tickets are on sale. You guys are going to include that information within the notes later. And we're actually talk about that convention in a little bit. But in the meantime, in case you missed it, I have narrator Sean Crisden back.
Hi, folks.
Hi.
How we doing? How's everybody doing? Good.
You've been a guest in the past. So we've done all the traditional, like, how'd you get started? How do you, voice choices? I mean,
you obviously never learned your lesson because you had me on previously, and you're just a glutton for punishment. So
I am.
Here I am. I'm back, folks.
Oh, there was that one time where we were recording our chat and you were smoking meat. And every couple of minutes, we were like,
what I call it,
on.
guys.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you rub it really good, nice and tender. And then who can resist hot smoking meat?
I have yet. I'm hoping that when we hang out again and, they might be a kitchen where I'm like, you're going to stay here for a couple of hours and you're going to cook something. Because you keep raving about your cooking and stuff. I'm like, I haven't seen that. So
I do love cooking. I do.
We have that in common. So
there you have it. This is secretly, you wanted to steal my recipes. That's why I'm here. She's going to shake me down and just squeeze out all of my family secrets, my tried and true tested recipes for assorted meat stuffs. I get it. It's all right. It's all right.
Okay.
It's sort of like you want my Krabby Patty recipe. I can protect it. Any SpongeBob fans? I don't know.
So, Sean Crisden, tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been narrating, and how you got started, real quick. The quickie version, please.
Yeah, okay. The quickie, because I can talk, folks. Been narrating since 2009. My first voice project was actually an audiobook. I also do animation and a lot of video games and some e-learning. But audiobooks are mostly my bread and butter, 60 to 70% of what I do. I've narrated over 500 books, and majority fall into the romance and erotica category. I've done a lot of nonfic, slave epics, some fantasy. I'm a sucker for thriller, suspense, and horror. And that's me. Ta-da!
Yeah, he's done a lot, guys. His list is it basically says about 500, though he's recorded significantly more that just haven't been published yet.
Well, they have been, and there were shenanigans. And for those of you who know, some of the publishers of years gone by have removed entire catalogs due to either screwing authors and the other rights holders and the narrators. It's probably in the vicinity of about 550 or so if we're trying to get all of them accounted for. But some are no longer available. Others have vanished. I still do have some of the raw recordings for them, but I don't know if they were re-recorded. I don't know if the rights transferred to someone else and they're either republishing them or being re-recorded by someone else. It's a mystery. I don't know. I work in a vacuum. They say, narrate this book, please. Okay. And I do the things, and that's how it goes. So, yeah.
So there's going to be a lot significantly. I mean, you and I usually do relaxed conversation anyways. But
this is going to be very rigorous then, not relaxed. Rigorous and vigorous.
Well, I mean, it is Enchantress After Dark, so we're going to get a little bit more intimate here and have some questions.
I am glad I brought my lube.
It's always a good thing to have handy. Because you've been doing this for a long time, and you kind of brought it up a little bit. I'm kind of curious because it has been a conversation as of late with regards to narrators being recast in books that they've done in years past. Do you care if you are recast in a book?
Well, I don't really subscribe to much ego. So in that regard, if there's a legitimate reason why I would need to be recast, or hopefully it doesn't have anything to do with my performance. I don't know if any of the books I've already done have been recast and re-recorded. Not to my knowledge. I don't know a lot of things, but there are series that I've either started or been a part of that have gone to other narrators. And as far as I know, I could be lying to you. As far as I know, those have always happened because of logistics. I'm usually booked 6 to 8 months out. So sometimes production wants to have the book available in a shorter time frame than I can add it to my schedule. So then they just go with another narrator. Too much of an uproar with some of the fan bases for books that either the series that I started or that I kind of did a moonlighting appearance on.
Yeah, I mean, listeners like having the consistency. I'm all for consistency, but if it is different couples, I'm okay. If the narrators change in between those different couples, because afterwards, I mean, y'all are great and you have your ranges, but after like book 25, y'all start something.
Yeah, it's the same. So, and that's good to keep it fresh. I think when you have different couples or just as you go through the span of some of the book series that get so long, that sometimes it's time for fresh blood, especially if we're looking at different characters in the series, just to keep it feeling fresh. So it's not just, it still kind of sounds like the same person from book 3. And you're right. So there's a certain range that we present and the types of characters that we play as narrators, but there is a limit to that believability in terms of portraying, this huge swath of characters that are supposed to be very, very different.
Exactly. And especially with the indie community, they have complete control of their titles. So sometimes what they were recorded 5 years ago and they're revamping their backlist, they're like, let's add this stuff. So I know sometimes people were, some of the narrators sometimes get a little perturbed because egos. Just a little bit, but also then the listeners are like, hey, what happened? But that's also the conversation we're like, listen, at the end of the day, the author is baby and they can do whatever the fuck they want.
That's right.
Deal with it.
Right.
So
it's sometimes it develops a symbiotic relationship between the narrator and the author and the audience and the listeners, and everything works out great. I tend to be very easy and no drama because, hey, life is short. Let's enjoy it rather than creating more negative situations. But there are some circumstances where things get a little hairy, and whichever way the wind blows. And I'm fortunate enough to be accomplished enough as a narrator where I'm not scrounging for every role and every gig and every book. That's a bit of grace that I have in that regard that some other narrators may not. But, I like it easy. Let's keep it easy. Whatever works best for the IP and the characters and the story, then go with that.
Yeah. And, we get to discover new people, so why not? Well, one of the things that you've done recently, it seems like just yesterday, but I was looking at the dates and like, it's been about a year and a half at this point. You were... Oh,
here we go. This time thing. We're not supposed to talk about time or aging or anything. Maybe it was yesterday, Viviana. Maybe it was. Maybe it was yesterday, but there's this character that has really good fandom and a video game that became a bit of a revival. And then all of a sudden everybody was like, oh my God, it's Sean Crisden. And Bendy and the Dark Revival. Yeah.
How has that been? Because the separate fandom from audiobooks.
Sure. I mean, that's been fantastic. The Bendy fandom skews younger. It's a video game and it's been popular with younger folks. And they're a great fandom, very supportive, very much positive, generally speaking. And they sort of rallied around me when I became the prime antagonist in the series, who in the first game never spoke, was just sort of this ominous presence, the ink demon. And then in the second game, it blew everybody's minds when he had a voice. And as an actor, that put a lot of pressure on me because the series is rather popular. So to voice amounts to an iconic character that people have come to expect in the series and then to be in the bigger, better, badder sequel so that I could honor that. That was a little tricky. no pressure, right? You want to you have all these tens of thousands of fans who are looking for something phenomenal, and you're like, oh yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, get that Sean Crisden guy. He can. Yeah, so that was fun.
It's fun. No,
but it's interesting because it developed a whole. I've done a ton of video games, and this is one of the characters that really developed their own fandom. So especially on Twitter, which is very big with a lot of the indie fandom. There's all sorts of fan art and songs and all sorts of things for this character, the Ink Demon. And there's a lot of people who like to simp for the Ink Demon.
Yep.
Yeah, that coming out of erotica and romance. I approached the character with an element of flirtatious sensuality, even though he's this monster who basically is the prime antagonist of this world in the game that is sort of an animated world of the ink, so to speak. So when people heard him speak and they said, "You do the Ink Demon voice, oh my goodness," and he sort of became fetishized in a sense that, hey, I'm okay with it, you know. Healthy sexuality, guys. I don't know how they'll ever work on expressing that in the real world, but it's a thing.
So the fandom that I've seen really big on and with video games that have also kind of gone into that realm of sexiness has also been like the most recent has been like Asterion and from Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, and, sure. I mean, you got the, you know, you have the whole bestiality thing. You got all the what were they? They can shift into animals. So they're the druids, I think, that were in that.
Yeah.
So, and there's sex galore, and it's certainly, you can have romantic relationships with them. So that's been an interesting thing. So, I mean, there's always Rule 34 for anything, right? So Rule 34, for those who weren't in that era of the internet, is that there is sexual content of everything you can think of that you can find on the internet. That's Rule number 34. And video games obviously are no exception. I do wonder about some of the younger players who suddenly become sexually enamored with a character who just, you know, comes in and sus soul. I am the you know, that kind of stuff. So they love that, and for some people that definitely pushes some buttons.
It does. I'm going here, kitty. I'm going. Yeah.
That's your pet cat, right? Not petting the cat, but it's, I mean, that actually become a component of my Backstage Pass area, which is Sean Crisden's Backstage Pass. For those of you who don't know, here's the quick commercial. You can get exclusive Sean Crisden audio content. Whoa, wow, zing, bam, boom. That is sort of my equivalent of a Patreon. It's just on a different platform. There's a component of it called Lair of the Beast, where every week there's new beastie. It's not, there's no copyright infringement here, folks. Scenarios and audio that dive deeper into the exploration of a relationship with the beast. So that's been a lot of fun too. So that's just one of the elements that's on there.
Well, I mean, people fell in love with Beauty and the Beast, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, the Beast!" I'm like, "I'm going the library."
Yeah,
the library.
There you go. There you go.
So,
and I don't know. I don't have any talking teacups or anything or clocks yet, but I'm working on it. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah, as I'm scrolling here, because I'm like, "Oh, there he goes." Because I had the whole thing with your Backstage. Yeah. So a lot of you guys are, as far as performers, are trying to figure out, you know, different ways to give back to the community and to have a bit of that community building, but also an additional form of, you know, income coming in.
Sure.
And then you kind of were like, okay, let's do this. What does that look like? Tell us about what Backstage, you know, for those that may not know and want to find out. Tell us all about Backstage, and then we'll go about how all the different coolness of it all.
Well, when I was a performing musician, the thrill for the fans of my band was I loved spending time with people. So I'd always, either before the show or after the show, say, come on, hang out with us for a little bit. and just to talk shop with people. There were no nefarious things happening at that point that I can admit to. So I wanted to try to find a way to recapture that, but for my audio fans here, for audiobooks and the video game stuff. So I came up after much debate and painful thought of what can I do to give people additional stuff that they like. So I came up with Sean Crisden's Backstage Pass, which is a subscription service. It's super cheap. It's for like Patreon for people that are familiar with Patreon without being on Patreon, because the platform had a couple problems around the time I got started. So I was kind of trying to figure out what to do. And it provides Sean Crisden ASMR, which is so much fun. Lair of the Beast, which is what we were just talking about, which is a lot of sort of role play scenario stuff, usually directly talking to the listener. Some of them are audio soundscape stories with sound effects and assorted things. A lot of them are extra steamy and spicy. So if you like that kind of thing, you may want to check it out. I posted some clips and samples on YouTube and on the Tickety Talk. There's also Oral Satisfactions, which are more traditional erotic audiobook scenes that I've posted that I've written or that other people have written. And that's another good point. This year, I'm going to be soliciting folks to write content that they want me to narrate on Backstage Pass, which will be 3,000 to 5,000 words, just shorts, hot, steamy, spicy stuff, so that I can highlight up-and-coming writers or established authors who want to just highlight content, and that'll be pushed out to the folks on Backstage Pass. I'll narrate it and have it on there. I'll make some announcement at some point in the near future for that. So there's that as well as me just talking to people about things in my life and things that are going on in the voice acting world with Oral Satisfactions. I also do what's called Sean Crisden's Sleep Story Theater. And some people have trouble falling asleep, and I've gotten so many requests to say, can you just read the phone book just in a soothing voice, and I can fall asleep to it. So now I've actually have a ton of stories that range from 10 to 20 minutes for Sleep Story Theater that you can just put on and listen to me drone on about whatever while you drift off to the peaceful arms of slumber. So that's another element of it. And then I have some special videos on there that I don't post anywhere else, and little secret tidbits about my life and the process. Lots of blooper reels. Yeah, I think that about sums it up. Did I forget anything?
Yes, you did.
Pictures, those pictures.
Yes. No, your shop. You have to. We actually Sean Crisden merchandise.
Oh yeah,
you can buy.
See, this I'm good at this. Let me market this thing. Yeah, so I decided that I should have some kind of merch for people. In fact, I am drinking right this very moment out of my Sean Crisden Talk Dirty to Me mug that is probably my favorite. I have mugs and shirts and assorted mouse pads, but the Talk Dirty to Me one is one of my favorites, because that way, I feel like I just take a sip out of this and everything tastes dirty. Oh, that's a good girl or boy. I love it. Yeah, definitely. If you're interested in Sean Crisden and just general audiobook or book merch, I have a little shop at SeanCrisden.com. It's so nice.
Yes, I actually am a owner of the Sean Crisden mug. So.
That's right. You are. You got one.
I am. I did.
Yeah, you did. You did. Yeah. And so tell us your unbiased review of this mug.
Okay.
Oh, for sakes. Oh, that's it. I'm taking that $10 back that I tossed you to give a good review. This was her moment to really, that's my favorite mug. I never had a mug so delicious. But yeah, now just ruined it. Everything ruined.
I know, I'm horrible, right?
And I was gonna tip an extra $1 or $2 for a job well done. I had my
singles already. With folks, see what I have to work with. No, I will say it is a good quality mug. It is, I've kind of run a little bit through the ringer because I'm like to test my products and stuff like that, and it's held its the artwork has held it.
It's really good.
It really is.
I was really impressed, and all comedy aside, I was really impressed with the quality of the merch I got for the shop. Like, this mug is fantastic. I have another one that I really love. The shirts are great. I support the shirts. Maybe if people come see me, I think, what's my next event? Reader's Day Denver in April. I'll probably be wearing some of the shirts. Maybe I'll bring my mug just so I can just
walk around,
conspicuously sip on my empty mug. Oh, yes, it's me, Sean Crisden. How are you?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, bring the Sean Crisden mug in case someone doesn't know who the heck you are.
That's right.
Because the name text can be a little funny.
My favorite is still the Talk Dirty to Me mug.
Yeah.
So they'll just see the Talk Dirty to Me side, and they'll just think, oh, this guy's a pervert.
No, they'll probably be like, ooh, I want one.
Should I just talk dirty to you? And then they'll just start telling me things like soil, mold, mildew, ooh, detritus, ooh, what rubbish.
Dirty dishes in the sink.
Oh, yeah, with crusty chunks on them. Oh, yeah, that's not what I need.
Not what we're talking about. No. No. The fans, you actually also have members only merch. So that's also kind of cool for people that are members of the Backstage Pass. You guys can get your own merch that kind of like has like one's like the Sean Crisden logo, and then it says member of. So kind of get rid of like, hey, secret kind of group thing that you're into.
There's special little buttons and pins that come for the members that are pretty sweet, sweet. Plus I do voice chat and video chat because there's a Discord server.
Yes,
that all the members get, and I pop in and say hey and let them just poke my brains about stuff. So it's
not a whole lot there, though. Of course, it's okay.
You hear it? Wait, here it is. Listen, here's the inside scoop. There it is. That's just the sound of wind. One of the tiers even gets privates. So that's a thing. It's for all the good boys and girls.
Yes, those are really good. And if you're maybe on the fence about joining, he also sells audio clips. So if you want to completely, like for a text messaging, like pick up your damn phone or anything like that, on the shop, you can buy those as well.
Yes. And I remember when I first put them up and I opened the shop and I did a soft launch for everything. And people said, what? Ringtones? Is that a thing? Is it 2001? And, they're notification tones. And they've been remarkably popular.
Yeah.
So you can kind of peruse various types of notifications and tones and things for folks that are Sean Crisden. So it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I get to hear one every time I work at the shop because a dear friend of mine and one of my BFFs is a gamer. Because I don't consider myself a gamer. I know about these things because I have the Tiki Taki app and all this other fun stuff. But I know and have learned a lot because she's a gamer. And Deborah Lee was God, I love her. Her notification are, all of a sudden, we're by ourselves at the shop and there's like a voice. I'm like, that's Deborah Lee's phones. But she was all like, all excited. Let's leave it at that. Excited about
delight
when I was like, I'm helping and working with blah, 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 the Sean Crisden. She was like, I'm sorry, who? And I go, the ink one. She goes, I know who he is. He's the ink. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, you're fanning. Okay, great.
That makes me feel good.
But she was your first member.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I am so excited. I should do something very special to honor her as because she was the first official Sean Crisden's Backstage Pass member. Yeah, maybe I'll come up with something.
Yeah. Well, because also she and I are dear good friends.
And she must have guilted her. And you should join this thing because I said, how did somebody join? I didn't even promote it yet. But you clearly beat her over.
I'm that good at marketing, sir. That's how it is.
Nickels.
No, I'm that good at marketing, sir.
You must be. It's clearly must be a thing.
I did send her a note and like, hey, babe, I am talking to Sean this afternoon. Do you have any questions? And aside from the squee that I got afterwards in text messages, she did provide 2 questions, which are actually really, really good. So I love it. 2 questions from her.
I can't wait. I love questions. I may not answer them truthfully, but I love questions.
He will, Deborah Lee. Don't worry. So one of the questions is, what has been the most challenging role you've had?
The challenging role I've had. Oh, I'm going to go with the Ink Demon for Bendy, since we're talking about it, but it was because it was something that pre-existed with a huge fan base, and the production team was taking a leap of let's give this thing a voice and something that uniquely fits it and fits the franchise and is iconic enough to carry it. That was one of those things where I had to, okay, how do I, sort of thing. So there was a challenge where in the majority of my audiobook work, at least, you're pretty much given an idea of who the characters are, what they sound like, what their affect is, and the narrative generally leads you along. So you don't typically need to dig very deep. And some of the other animation and gaming stuff, you get some leeway to come up with characters, but it's rare that you get one who is so visible and prolific in the story in the series and needs something different, something that uniquely carries that character. So yeah, we're going with the Ink Demon.
Okay. And my question, what's the deal with the ducks and the Ink Demon?
What is the deal with the ducks? Well, that came out of the Bendy fandom, where we were doing a live stream event, and there's some ducks in the game, and I was doing some kind of Ink Demon thing while I can't remember, was it Super Horror Bro that was doing the playthrough? Somebody was doing the playthrough, and I was just goofing off doing the Ink Demon thing, trying to scare him while he's playing the game, anticipating the appearance of the Ink Demon. And he opens a locker and there's a rubber duck in there, and I broke my Ink Demon character just to go, oh, rubber ducky. And the entire fandom went crazy for it, and the rubber ducks have sort of stuck around since then. So that was the birth and origin of the rubber ducks. So they just hang out in my studio and they make random appearances. There's a lot of fan art with Ink Demon and Sean Crisden and rubber ducks. So there's all sorts of stuff with that. It's spectacular.
Because I've seen, I was going, okay, there's always something sometimes. Like with Jeep drivers, they duck the Jeeps.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going, last I checked, he doesn't drive the Ink Demon doesn't drive a Jeep. So that's not it.
From driving Jeeps by all my Jeep owning friends. So you want just empty every pocket. That's what it'll be.
The other question that Deborah Lee's had, and I think you kind of sort of may have answered it a little bit, but she was like, have you played the games that you starred in, or does that kind of ruin the experience for you?
I'm a big gamer, so I love playing the games that I'm in. And I'm at a point now where I can separate myself and my performance and my critique thereof from the experience of just playing the game. I'd like to think I can attribute that to the fact that, okay, I did a good job, where I feel that this is an appropriate character within the game that is now compartmentalized and separate from me, so I can simply enjoy it objectively. So I look at that as a positive thing when I can do that. There are some games where I'm like, oh, that's that Sean Crisden guy. And it's not as easy. And most of them, I feel that I can separate it, and I love to play the game. Yeah, I'm a gamer. If I can just listen to myself flapping my lips through the whole thing, oh boy, what a joy.
So from a gamer's perspective, when you say you are a gamer, do you have the whole setup? Again, the release, but also my niece, Gabby, she's a gamer. She's been she'll send me text messages saying, Tia, I got the new chair. Tia, I got the computer. And I'm like, girl.
Well, I've basically in recent years, due to a lack of time and just, I was a huge gamer, huge console collection. I had what I called the VGL, the video game layer. So I have games going back to Vectrex and ColecoVision, Atari 2600, and I have every console up through about the PS4. I'm only missing a Neo Geo and a TurboGrafx 16 and TurboGrafx CD. So for those of you who are old Gen Xers and who grew up with that stuff, you're like, whoa, this guy's a nerd. So I have a lot of the console stuff through like the early to mid 2000s, where I actually used to go on I would buy huge eBay lots of games and supplement the libraries of all the other consoles I had, and then sell off any of the extras or the stuff that just wasn't in great condition. I essentially have a museum's worth of video game cartridges, discs, consoles, controllers, and paraphernalia. I say that without hyperbole. There's a lot of it, but it's right now, most of it's in storage. It's not set up. And I'm doing most of my gaming now on PC and with Steam. But I am. Oh, here's a triumph. Kiddo's 5, my son, and I've been playing with him the past maybe 4 months. We've been playing Super Mario Brothers, many asked, Sonic from the Sega Genesis, and we're up to Sonic 3, and we're playing Super Mario 3 and Super Mario World from SNES. So he's getting his sort of crash course in classic gaming. So I've been breaking that with him. So most evenings we'll sit down and do an hour or two of just playing some old console games. So that's fun. He's going to obviously be a lifeless loser and just spend his life playing video games like his father did. So,
Nah, people are making careers and getting paid lots of good money.
It's research, right?
Watch, yeah, exactly. How they play video games.
It's educational.
I mean, I'm the girl that has the Atari for those that are, figuring out dating dates here and stuff like that. But it's just old. Shut up. When that system came back a few years ago, like in the early 2000s and stuff like that, I was like, ooh, memories. I bought it. With the colors and stuff. And then I like the traditional Super Mario Brothers. Very flat. I don't know if it's because of the glasses or something else, but that first person moving around thing and jibby jaggy kind of gives me a headache. So I try not to play those games, but I can kick your butt in like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. So
Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. You're talking my language. I dumped hundreds of dollars into the arcade version of Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2. It's terrible. And I was a poor child. I don't even know where I got the money to play the game. But yeah.
Yeah. Those were always fun too, especially like the Mortal Kombat ones. When I'm going, that's not how you do the kick, considering I was taking Taekwondo classes. I was like, all right. That was also like the fun, like, hey, can we do like the game? No, that doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no. I need my spot.
Gravity.
Sorry.
Yeah, gravity.
The whole thing.
And signature has a completely different annotation. It's all.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's just stick with fatalities. I mean, I think that's also works either way, right?
Yeah.
Your soul will leave your body.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll be unable to move.
That's right. Oh, you returned to Jello. What did he do? Yeah. I have my work.
Totally. So those were Deborah Lee's questions. So thank you, Deborah Lee, for providing those and supporting.
Love it.
Yeah. So we have been, friends for years now. We've pretty much talked about a whole lot of stuff. What are you looking forward to for this year? I mean, now we just started and stuff like that, but is there, do you mean you don't set goals or anything like that? Are you a soul
I
or do you?
Okay. I paint with a broad brush. So I have survive, stay alive. That's usually top of the list, somewhere near the top. To achieve most of the other goals, I typically have to be a conscious being. I would like to find a way to further engage with my fan bases in the community, which I'm trying. Sean Crisden's Backstage Pass is one way, and I'm trying to just basically begin to dig through suggestions for how to grow that and give everybody what they want, because that's the fun part. That's all the fun stuff and the requests and meeting requests from people. So that's a goal for this year as well as to become more visible, which leads us to the fact that I've actually this year signed on for appearing in public during the daytime and the nighttime at 2 events so far. So I'll be at Readers Take Denver come April.
Yep.
And the fall has me at DarkStarCon in the Big Easy, heading that, and I'll see what else. I would love to come back to Philadelphia for Indies Invade Philly. I'm a Philadelphia boy, born and raised in Philadelphia, so I'm always looking for an excuse to go back because I miss my cheesesteaks, my water ice, and pizza.
I love the food.
Yeah.
This is always Sean Crisden.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
I know this already.
Dominates my entire mentality. If I go somewhere, the entire trip is planned on what and where I will eat. And if I meet friends or people I do along the way, great. Hopefully you live by that restaurant or that barbecue joint, because then you're in proximity. but it's food. Food is very important. I have simple pleasures and I'm a man of them. So, yeah.
I will say it's the truth though, because I got to, meet you in person and finally get my hug at Allure in 2022. And I was like, hey, Sean. And I think I give you a list of a couple of restaurants and foods that I'm like, I'll feed you if you come.
I believe you gave me a cupcake. Wasn't there a cupcake involved?
My best friend, Brandy, because she's local. So I was like, listen, I got to feed this man and keep him happy.
That's the only way. I'll just go feral. Watch out.
I did say that I was going to create a Sean Crisden snack bag. I need to make sure that you have that for the next event.
Right. You have to, if I'm not happy, terrible things could happen. And the only way I'm happy is if my belly's full. Yep.
Yeah. So with these two events, Dark Star being the one specifically for audiobooks, and you've decided to do this. What are your thoughts on what are you nervous? Are you expecting what?
I rarely get nervous about most things. Sometimes I have concerns. Concerns. As I am typically a desert hermit and I just sort of exist in my crypt, I have to go out and do the peopling. I like the people and I enjoy meeting the people, but I reach a limit at a certain point, and then I have to retreat back to the solace of darkness, recuperate. So we'll see how
introverts.
Yeah. Hello. I'm sort of I don't know if I can describe it as an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert. I can turn it on, but in order for me to recharge, I'm not necessarily recharged by other people. I need quiet solitude and my own selfness.
Yes. So that's introvert with extroverted tendencies, says the girl that is the same way.
There you go. Introverts unite.
Yeah. People swear I'm such an extrovert. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I turn it on and it lasts for a while, and then I need to recharge.
Just turn it off. Yeah. No talkie. No talkie.
No. I just want my Sean Crisden mug and some coffee, and leave me the hell alone.
Mug makes whatever you put in it much more delicious. This is scientifically proven. This is why I went with this Deliciomator mug. But
that's going to be a sticker, folks. Deliciomator.
Deliciomator. Yeah, it's scientifically proven. Works 80%, 100% of the time. And it's, I don't know. I feel sometimes that I chose a path of basically being a creative extrovert. There's a lot of performance involved that it's somewhat antithetical to other components of my being, but it's what I enjoy too. So there's always a strange struggle. And I see that a lot of creative performers have a similar struggle. There are some who just love it. They're just always want to be in the limelight and always want to be me, and it's the them show, and they love it. For me, I'm not necessarily someone who needs to be the focus of it. It's also part of the reason why I'm a voiceover actor. You don't have to see my face. People don't recognize me. I can go out into public and shop, and it's not, most people don't recognize me. I did start on camera. So I was doing on camera. I was doing acting and stunts and martial artist and fighting and fight choreo. And that was, I won't say it was too much for me in the fact that I couldn't handle it. It was too much for me in the sense that it was more than I wanted to do. Because you got early calls and you have hair makeup, you have to memorize things. What? Can you just put it in front of me and I can read it? Yes, you want voiceover. Oh, okay. So that sort of was a natural transition for me for that, because I am a creative ding dong, but I need ways to get it out, which is why I was in a performing band and I'm a musician, and that needs a certain element of that need for creativity, and as well as the voiceover work. And people say, well, what would you do if you couldn't do voiceover work? And you couldn't. I said, well, I would go back to painting, drawing, something. I need to have a creative outlet. Or if I was, for some reason, financially independent, lovely, then I would still be creating. And people say, well, what would you do? Yeah, I'd still be doing voice work. I'd have more time to pick and choose what I wanted to do, but I'd do a lot more music because I love creating music and oral experiences, be they with the voice or with music, melody, harmony, instruments. I enjoy that. So I went to school for illustration, so I would probably dedicate some space within my studio to picking that up again. But it's just, pursuit of, I called it the creative well. I need to drink from the well, allow the well to replenish, and then sustain my thirst with it again. So that's me in a nutshell, folks. That's what I like to do. I like to make the things.
Yeah. Well, now you're going to be able to make the things and have people's reaction to it at these events.
Yeah. Well, that's what's so great about it is that most voice talent work in a vacuum, especially audiobook narrators, because 95% of every book I've ever done has been done remotely in my own studio without even a director. You just, can you do this book? Sure. You record it, you turn it in. Great. You get some pickups, you do the pickups. So it's a very lonely job. So it's one of the reasons why animation and sometimes gaming, if you do ensemble recording with other people, you get back and forth and you get into some different energy dynamics to feed that creative bug. So that stuff's fun too. I need elements of that. But then the introvert comes back and okay, I'll just sit here and swirl my cognac and recline in my chair in front of the fire. All right, let me tell you a story. I'll weave you a yarn. So that's enjoyable too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So for these events that you're going to be at, like for Darkstar being focused on the audiobook stuff and even with Vita State Denver, are you what's the most that you're excited about aside from peopling a little bit?
I think the peopling is the most exciting part. Aside from the fooding, I get to eat different foods, and I'm forced to. I don't have to. I don't even have to cook. Somebody's going to make something for me, and I'm going to pay them for it and eat it. That's it. I like interacting with the fan base because and that's another one of the reasons why I did Sean Crisden's Backstage Pass, so that I can have a direct conduit to the fans and the people that enjoy the things that I do, and give them more of it, and get their feedback, and then do some of the things that they specifically want. So it's a nice synergy that exists there. So that feeds that component so that I'm not just isolated in the vacuum in the booth, just recording. And do they like it? I don't know. I never hear anything. I don't read the reviews. I don't know. So it's not that. So yeah, I think I'm actually, don't tell anybody. Okay. This is a secret. I think I'm actually looking forward the most to the peopling. Shh.
I won't tell you.
Okay, yeah, don't. It's just between you and me. Yeah, I think that it's fun. You get there, get the lay of the land, so to speak, because I don't get to interact with people. I live in a desert, for Pete's sake. I don't even see people around my house. So
you see scorpions though, and
I do. Scorpions, rattlers, hawks, lots of snakes. Yeah, love it.
All right, so make sure that you bring either your Kindle stuff or some other things, T-shirts, grab some ahead of time from his shop and have him sign it.
I will sign anything. Is that your child? Let me sign his face. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, just bring it in.
Yeah, start up a conversation. He's nice, I promise. If he's not nice, just come find me. I will apologize.
just put a cupcake in my face. Apple pie barbecue takes priority. That has the greatest efficacy in my temper. But
I'm trying to figure out how to get the apple pie to you at the event. So I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, I'm gonna obviously try to find a bakery and see. Okay, who's got the best pies in here, and where's the best barbecue coming from in this region? And there we go. Yeah, love it. And I'm at odds with my barbecue as an aside because, being an empathetic, environmentally conscious human, I do a lot of smoking. Not necessarily great for the environment, certainly not great for the animals that I consume. And so there are parts of me that say, maybe I really need to reduce my meat consumption. And smoking, it's a rather dirty form of food preparation. But boy, is it delicious. So yeah, balance.
Yeah. Just warn a girl if you do decide to reduce intake, just so I know about, withdrawal syndromes.
Don't worry, my friend. I talk a good game, but I eat the meats.
And just warn a girl.
Yeah. No time soon. I ain't going to be doing that no time soon, girl.
No, I wouldn't let you. I would be like, no, sir, you have 2 events to go to where you have to be peopling and nicing. So no,
I'll be
no
doing all the
withdrawal.
food eating. Give me all the food. All the food.
Gotta come.
I should be about 400 pounds. I should be. This is why I have to stay physically active, because I eat entirely too much. I'm fortunate enough to still have a very active metabolism, but I have to stay on top of it. So I have, I go crazy. I just see what happens. I haven't eaten.
Oh goodness!
Psychologically, I suffer too when I'm not physically active. That's why I was a martial artist, and I still go to the gym in the morning to do resistance work and cardio and HIIT work, just to keep me functional, not just physically, but because apparently some of us are aging, but also psychologically it helps me. Yeah. Huh? What?
You?
What happened?
Yeah.
Did you say something I couldn't
hear you? Right? What's that? Hold on. Hearing aid. Before you divulge anything else that might be part of your 2 truths and a lie. So the thing that I had to do is play that game with 2 truths and a lie, where you tell me 3 things about yourself and we have to figure out which one's the lie.
I might just tell you all lies. It's all lies. Everything he says. That's Sean Crisden. He is a prolific liar. Yeah, everything.
I could call it acting, but like whatever.
Acting. Oh, yeah. Yeah, acting. I should go into politics. That's
Now you get bribed by apple pies. No way.
Big Pie has him in their back pocket.
Yeah. So what are your 3 things?
So are we doing 2 truths and a lie?
Yeah, you got to tell me all 3, and then we have to figure out which one's the lie. So don't tell me which one.
Okay, you ready?
I am ready.
Let's see. Here's the first one. I was born in the passenger seat of a 72 Oldsmobile custom cruiser that had wood paneling. That was the wood paneling ones, en route to the hospital. So they called them the Woodies. My family actually nicknamed me Woody. And that name stuck for a very long time, longer than I care to admit. That's number 1. Número 2. My first television appearance was on the Captain Noah show. Now, East Coast people, particularly in the Mid-Atlantic region, Philly, New York, New Jersey, would know Captain Noah. He was sort of the regional competition to Captain Kangaroo, who I believe was nationally syndicated. That was in 1987. I was a kid on the show, and I also got to be in the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade, which also was part of the show.
Okay.
That's number 2.
Okay.
Numero 3. I am a relative of the late Ed Bradley of CBS Evening News and 60 Minutes. He was a family member of mine. There are your 3 things. So, 1. Let's recap.
Yes, please.
Born in a Woody, on the way to the hospital. The unfortunate nickname of Woody stuck with me. I appeared on TV for the very first time on the Captain Noah show in Philadelphia in 1986 or 87. Might have been 86. Where I was a kid on the show and also was on a float in the Thanksgiving Day Parade. Number 3, I am a relative of Ed Bradley, who most people know from 60 Minutes, but also earlier in his career was a correspondent for the CBS Evening News, covered Vietnam and a ton of other things. Another prolific journalist. There you go. 1, 2, 3. 2 truths and a lie. You figure out which one's the lie. You got 2 truths and one's a lie.
Oh, fuck you. That's so good.
What do you got? What do you got?
See, this is the thing with this game. You guys, as also actors, can really do this thing called lying and making it sound truthful, but also the details. I want to say the second one, the television appearance in the parade, is the lie.
So you think you, Enchantress, my favorite Enchantress, by the way. I mean,
you're only Enchantress, but okay.
I know a lot of Enchantresses. What do you say? My second favorite is the Enchantress of Flatulence. She's great at parties. Great at parties. Not so great in enclosed spaces. Great at parties. So you're saying that my first television appearance was the Captain Noah show, Philadelphia's Captain Noah show in 1986 or 87. And also me appearing on the show and being in the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade is a lie.
Yes, I do.
Wrong. Survey says.
All right, then.
I'll give you a second shot. Come on, you got two left.
Shot. Okay. Relative to the late Ed Bradley, then the lie.
Survey says. I was not born in the passenger seat of a 72 Oldsmobile custom cruiser with wood paneling.
Mm-hmm. No.
I was actually born in Philadelphia's Hahnemann Hospital, which I believe now is closed down. What can you do? Where can you go after having me born there? There's nowhere to go but down. Stop when you're on the top. Yeah, that was the lie.
The lie. Okay.
Started with the lies. That way you didn't know. Yeah.
Oh, the way that you were playing up the whole Woody thing, I was going, it's probably the lie, but I'm gonna.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hate to break it, but yeah, you were wrong. Okay, you were wrong.
I will give you the satisfaction of saying that for the first and only time.
Sorry. I will accept it.
We've done this before as far as like the would you rather is one of the questions is like, would you rather tell everyone your guilty pleasures or never partake in them ever again? And you can do that for the Patreon. For us, the running joke has always been like, for all my guests has been like, okay, the next time that you're on as a guest, we'll talk about those guilty pleasures. And I'm going, guess what we're doing?
Must be guilty pleasures, folks.
Yeah.
I'm no kind of psychic or nothing, but I think it's guilty pleasures. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well, so is that the question? Would I rather talk about them or never engage in them again?
Yes. I have a feeling you say you're going to talk about them.
Well, do you know me? I have no shame. I have no shame whatsoever. What? You want to know? Yeah, my underwear had holes in it. I just took them off. Let's talk about them.
Yeah.
Because
so what are your
guilty pleasures? I'm a hedonist, so I got to do the things. The guilty pleasures. Well, most people know that I enjoy being alone, right? So more often than not, I am a solitary creature. Sean Crisden is a solitary creature who often spends time in his den. I like being by myself. I could very much easily exist and subsist in a cave with maybe do some mud painting, go do some sort of Gilligan Island style coconut guitar or something. And I think I missed the boat on that, though, being some sort of natural homesteader or something. I'm too soft now. Oh, I like sleeping in a soft bed. And right now, I like heat. Yeah, it's kind of cold in the desert, folks. Right. This is our cold season, but usually at one night where it dips below freezing, we have a whole week of sub-freezing temperatures. It's unbelievable. Unfreezable. So I like that. Here's a shocker. I enjoy healthy sexual expression and pornography. Love pornography. I know that's a shock considering the bulk of my work. What? He's into like erotica. What? Oh my God. Yeah. Blew your mind with that one. Another shocker. I could pretty much live on apple pie and barbecue. And I say that as a guilty pleasure because I should have other nutritional needs. But I think the two food groups that sustain a Sean Crisden are apple pie and various smoked meats, barbecue. So I could just eat that. I feel like I need something juicier though. Like I don't really have any skeletons in my closet.
No, you're good. Those are
they good? I don't know. You want to try? Should we try? Should we look in the darkened recesses of my mind?
No, I don't think there's a whole lot there.
Pretty scary. Yeah, it's pretty scary. It's like a rubber band and like some old duct tape and chewing gum. MacGyver could make something out of it.
Probably.
I'm dating myself there too.
Yeah. It's a good show, though.
Like, who?
No, they redid the whole thing. So people
knew. Really?
Yes, they did. It was okay.
So for like, when was it done? Is it current? Is he like, it's me, MacGyver. I'm totally vibing with this. It's fire, no cat, bro. Yeah, dude.
I'll send you the link.
Is that like that?
No, it's pretty good. They tried. I think the pandemic, they did the last season in the pandemic, but they were supposed to come another season. So I'm still waiting to hear if they're coming back or not, but probably, you know,
so
the writer's strike.
It's current. So it's current.
It's current. Yeah. Past couple of years. Yes. I think 5 seasons. So.
Right. Well, see that's another, it's not exactly a guilty pleasure, but it does tie into my being alone. I also very rarely partake in pop culture now. I hardly ever watch television or shows. It has to be something that's basically considered the pinnacle of its genre or time for me to watch it. Because I find that so much stuff is just poorly conceived and just basically wastes my time and takes me for an idiot to try to entertain me. You know, either go in like full, you know, Z grade horror, which is one of my favorite things because it does not take itself seriously and it's supposed to be crap, or it has to be the pinnacle of the art form, which, you know, I feel like I'm some elitist snob to say that, but the way that I consume my entertainment media, it's also why I'm usually at odds with most forms of social media, is that I find there's no real substance to a lot of what's happening on most of the platforms. And it can be found, but it's just if you're willing to dig and wade through a lot of the morass of garbage, basically. But that's me. You know, I'm old man yells at clouds. Why you? You know, I
get off your
snappers and your thingamajigs and your Tweeter books and Insta snaps.
You've gotten better. You've gotten better.
I have. I've started participating because I want to interact with fans who like the stuff I do, so that I'm just not some spooky specter that Sean Crisden. I heard that every 7 years when the moon is high, you know, he comes out. Yeah, so I'm trying to, you know, just goofy. But even I'm contributing to this sort of goofy content. Most of it's on
the Tiki-Taki Clap app.
The Tickety-Talk. Yes. I know what it was. Most of it's on TikTok.
Yeah.
Which I haven't been posting as often as I should be. I've been doing a lot of the Poetry Corner stuff.
Yeah, which is, I swear, I think I keep messing with you. And like, so when are you going to do the Britney Spears?
Working on it. Well, which is one of the reasons why I want to take requests from people. To say, hey, well, what do you want me to do?
Mess with you.
Yeah. Oops, I did it again.
So you take pop culture
there it was.
songs, and there it was.
I stuck that in there. Yeah,
I did. Yeah,
like right.
Yeah, very slick.
Yeah. Well, I know. Right. Yeah. Okay. What's next? What you got?
The Ask Me Anything segment, because you did this to me once, sir. During the second time, I think we talked. But you busted out. You know, kind of like making it as if you were the hostess and I'm like the guest and making me ask answers, questions and stuff like that. And I'm going, you know what? I'm just going to give you guys the opportunity to get out of your system. So you have this opportunity now to ask me anything and I will answer.
That's fantastic. We're here right now with Viviana Izzo, the Enchantress of Books, quite prolific in the audiobook sphere and in her marketing and research efforts to help those who produce audiobooks and need other items within the realm. So let me ask you, now that you're here with us, and I know the fans are dying to know, Viviana, can I call you Viviana?
Yes.
Excellent. What is your greatest challenge you have found as a human being?
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
I won't elaborate on it any further. So just interpret it as you will.
Thank you.
Your greatest challenge as a human being.
Being kind to myself.
Explain how this kindness to oneself and how this impacts you and those around you and what you mean for it being such an obstacle and a challenge.
I am really good at taking care of others and making sure that their needs are met. And I will forego anything for myself because what do you mean? I get to relax. I have stuff to do. And no, I can't do this and stuff because that means that I'm not doing something else. And so I'm learning and have been learning to, in order for me to take care of others, I have to first take care of myself. Otherwise, others are going to suffer. But also, I'm worth it. I'm worth taking care of me. And I've been doing the bubble baths and spending some time away from the computer and phones, which is always weird, and just being and telling other folks to go fuck off. But
Perfect. Yeah. Well, a lot of people tend to ignore the power of self-care and self-worth, which we can find, so that we can fortify our own foundation and then use that to lift others. I believe you're familiar with the parable of the giving tree. It's an age-old story of a tree that gave all of itself and could no longer survive because it gave so much to others that it was difficult to sustain itself. We cannot give all of ourselves and rupture our foundation and the very core of our beings to others. Altruism is a fine trait. However, we must make sure that we ourselves are fortified so that we may continue to aid others when they need us most. Okay, a second question. With that being said, what do you feel in your heart of hearts has been your greatest victory as a human being?
I'm indulging you with 2 questions.
This is an interview. Thank you for agreeing. I believe you signed on with the contract on Rider. Yes, your management company was very accommodating.
I talked to him about that. What was the question again?
Yes, I understand that your comprehension is somewhat lacking. What has been your greatest victory as a human being? This is the opposite of the first question, you see. We want to talk about your challenge. Now we will talk about your greatest success. What makes you feel complete as a person, a human, a wife, a mother, everything that you are, everything that encompasses you?
Good question. I think it's just accepting things for what it is and not dwelling in the past and trying to figure out what I may have or may not have done something. Just, take people for what they're showing you, and they're an asshole, and getting rid of them so I can focus my time on those that are worthy of me and my time and my space.
Yes. That's fantastic. We often in life need to understand that we have to accept people for who they are, not for who we want them to be. Thank you for joining us for this latest episode of Sean Crisden Interviews Viviana Izzo. Please tune in next week when we talk to Barack Obama about his greatest fetishes. All right. Yeah, that was it.
You're good there?
Yeah, we're good.
We're good, yeah. That's when I thought it would go one way. It's good. You're good. All right.
I keep you on your toes. You wanted some questions. I was just making them up as we went, but I think that worked.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it did a good job. Good job. If you ever think that you, for whatever second, have a second and you want to do something else creatively, we can do a series. You can do the hosting. I'll do the platform.
I love it. Well, I'm thinking about, for social media, I'm thinking about doing a sort of a self-help Dear Abby kind of thing, where, people give me their problems. I read what their problem is, and I give them some advice. And the advice may not be accurate. So I'm thinking about
with a lot of disclaimers.
Not responsible for death or dismemberment.
And the relationship, not responsible either.
Right. That's right. I have some opinions. I got some opinions. I like to say that my opinions all have expiration dates with the option to renew. That way, in the presence of new or compelling evidence to the contrary to something that I once believed, I can change it and feel free and comfortable to do so. I allow myself to do so that I can always experience some degree of positive growth. So I try not to hang on to anything, the root of all suffering, right?
Yeah.
Attachment. We want to keep things or make them a certain way in the sense that we can't control everything. Some of us are just here for the ride.
And sometimes that's totally what you need at the moment.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
To be able to let go of the reins, and it's okay.
Yep.
You can let it go.
As someone that's constantly having to be in charge of things, I'm like, I don't want to.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to. Don't ask me about dinner. Just put it in
still rolling through. Because coming out of the holidays, especially this whole I'm still in my I don't want to phase of this year, which it's a new year. You should be doing the things. Yeah, you kind of just going with the flow right now.
Yeah,
recuperating.
It's important. I think sometimes we're expectations of society things and others have on us based on our roles and who we are to
and
them
our
and
expectations
on ourselves.
That's right. See, I listened to your answers. It's important to have grace with yourself. And that's about being kind to yourself. I don't know if we talked about that the last time. I have this whole, it's more of a philosophy of living called Crisdenanity. The very first tenet that I have in that philosophy is be kind to yourself. And that means a lot of things in how we express kindness to self. Not to be too hard on ourselves, not to punish ourselves over things physically or psychologically, or to attempt to push ourselves into things that are unhealthy for us. We want to push ourselves to grow and to be able to evolve into healthy, functioning people. But there are times when we get trapped and feel that we have to push ourselves in a way that may result in a net negative for our well-being. So it's starting to understand ourselves. So it's a whole thing. So I'm on board, girlfriend. I am on board with everything.
Thanks.
Absolutely be kind to yourself, take self-care, and do all the things. Yes. Yes, girl.
Yeah, if I'm having a moment, I'm just going to go to you and just say it's okay.
Well, on Sean Crisden's Backstage Pass, some of the oral satisfactions are simply me talking to you if you've had a bad day. Yeah. I actually, I've had multiple people tell me, and this is what's so fantastic about it, is that they said, I listened and it really helped me. I said, thank you. That is the greatest compliment I could ever have, is to actually having a meaningful, positive impact on someone, even if it's just for a moment on their day, their life, those things. And that's what it's all about.
It's amazing how sometimes just listening to someone vent, or just being told that it's okay to not wanna, or whatever it is, that allows you to be more empowered in life. So it is true. So thank you for that. And
100%, girl.
Yeah. And I know that the listeners love it too, and have also loved all your stuff on your Backstage. So if you're, again, not a member, you're going to want to check it out.
Wow, that's a solid endorsement. Thank you. Wow. I feel like I should sign up for it.
It's good. I don't lie and stuff like that. That's why, you are about reviews and stuff. If I do a review and I say it's a 5-star or a 4-star, even a 3, because 3 means a good. 3 stars is a good thing.
3 is good. 3
is good. It's because it is. I am not the one that goes into fads or people that are, things that are popular at the moment. I'm going to be like, listen, I love you, right? No, that's not good. I will tell you, and things like that. So, but it is, your stuff is really, really good. It has been fun to see it grow, and I'm looking forward to what 2024 brings for you.
That's what she said. It's really good. Looking forward to seeing it grow.
And this is the friendship that he and I have, where we'll bust out with, that's what she said in any given moment based on whatever comes out of her mouths. Stop it. Before we go, can you tell us what's going on currently that you can share, and what's coming up next for you?
Currently that I can share. Let's see. Well, I did my homework and I prepared a list. There are times where I've forgotten to do that, and people go, what are you working on? I have to pull up my calendar and say, well, I just did these things. So recently, we've got, just in the past month or two, which I'm not sure if they're all available for retail yet. On the audiobook side, we've got wrapped up Wicked and Bear, which is the Wicked and Devoted series, book 2 by Shayla Black. But I know there are some fans of that series. There, I wrapped up Save the Date, which is another book in the Whiskey Row series. There are plenty of Whiskey Row fans, by D.A. Young, which is the story of Guy and Fern in the Whiskey Row universe. I wrapped up, which actually I know is now available, Erasure by Percival Everett, which was fabulous satire. And actually, the movie based on the book just came out. I had no idea they were making a movie about it, which is American Fiction with Jeffrey Wright, which has been getting good reviews. So now it's me versus Jeffrey Wright. Who portrayed the character better? I'm just glad that some more of Everett's work, Percival Everett, the author, is getting publicity. He's great satirical stuff. Really enjoyed that one. Wrapping up Rogan's Robbie by Irene King, with the wonderful co-narration of Ore Nash, which will be available shortly. I think that one's just getting wrapped, so it has to go through post-production. Finished Ryland's Inferno, book 2 in the Pride Shifters series. So for those of you that have been following that series by Giovanna Reeves. It's male shifters. There's a dragon, there's werewolves, there's a whole thing. The Owner by Xavier Neal, male-female hockey romance. That one was just wrapped up, so that'll be out soon. And I'm just about to start to finish this month out. I have Bronx's Bite, which is book 3 in the Pride Shifter series by Giovanna Reeves. More werewolves and dragons. And Claiming Keaton's Sanctuary, which is another book in the Crown Legacy series. I think that's book 6 by Sherelle Green. I know there's a bunch of fans of that one. So that's coming soon too. And then I know there's some other stuff, but that's what's on the docket for this month. So see, I was ready. I was prepared.
I'm proud
of the books. I remembered. Usually I just go into a lot of interviews and I'll wing it. So what have you been working on?
Blanking.
Yeah, napping. I am becoming a proficient napper. Yeah, so I'm ready.
Good.
I did good.
Yes, you did. You did really, really good. Now email me that list so I have it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Sean, for taking the time to chat and hang out with us today. It's been utter fun and pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anytime. It's always fun. My favorite enchantress. We'll see.
If you're not following Sean on social media, I'm going to provide you guys with all the links so you can follow him and also join his backstage pass because it is utter awesomeness over there. It's fun. It's a lot of great stuff that I think you guys will all enjoy.
Yeah, hopefully. I enjoy it.
Well, thank you again.
Optional. Sometimes it's not. Depends on the circumstances.
Exactly.
Dynamics are important, folks.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Until next time, happy listening.
Toodles.
Thank you to all of our Audiobook Lovin Podcast Patreon. The Audiobook Lovin Podcast has special Patreon access levels. Join today to receive benefits including early access to episodes, shout-outs, special exclusive content, and much more. Support the podcast by becoming a Patreon at www.patreon.com/audiobookloving. We thank you for your support.
Thank you for joining us on the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, hosted by Viviana, Enchantress of Books. For links and more information discussed in today's episode, previous podcasts, or the Audiobook Lovin Series, please visit our website, vivianaenchantressofbooks.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a positive review wherever you listen to our podcast. Until next time, happy listening.